Alright, so this summer we finally got back to international travel. Went across Norway from Bergen to Oslo, down through Denmark, and finally ended in Berlin. So stick with me, I'll take you on a tour of our trip, and you don't want to miss any of it. We'll start with our first 36 hours in Bergen, Norway. So this summer we finally got back on a plane and left the country to take a family trip overseas to show the boys Scandinavia and Berlin.
It's okay.
Our twins went to Norway when they were 1 and have been out of the country 4 times before the pandemic, but this is the first time since and the first time out of the country for our youngest, who's 2.5 now. It's also his first time on an airplane overall. We left from Newark and flew to Bergen, Norway. The flight was about 7 hours long. We got very little amount of sleep on the plane, not very much at all. The kids did great, even our 2.5-year-old slept a bit after fighting it for a couple of hours, but I really had a hard time falling asleep and probably slept for less than 30 minutes the entire flight. Once we landed, we got checked in, left to walk around the town and fight the jet lag quite a bit. We had previously visited Bergen on a cruise in 2017. We really liked it and decided that we absolutely had to go back again and spend more than just a couple of hours in town. Bergen is known as the city that gets the most rain in the world, but it was actually very sunny when we visited the first time. Our trip started off drizzly, but it turned overcast before finally turning sunny on our first and second day there. We stayed in an apartment near the university, then walked down through Parken Park, down to the harbor, and stopped for lunch at the seafood market, where you can find a whole bunch of different stalls selling different types of fresh seafood, a lot of which is caught locally and brought in fresh and cooked like right in front of you basically. The kids really liked looking at all of the different seafood on display and picking out what we're going to eat.
We are here in Bergen, Norway at the fish market, and we are eating salmon and cod fish cakes. How's the food, guys? Arlo, is it yummy?
Can I have some?
This is what happens when somebody doesn't sleep enough on the plane. Arlo? Nom, 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 nom.
Do you want plain or with toppings, guys?
Topping.
Which one?
After that, we walked through Bryggen, which is the historic wooden warehouses from the trading days when Bergen was a major port for the Hanseatic League, which covered a lot of the Baltic, North Sea, and ports out of Northern Europe. It's been a UNESCO heritage site since 1979. Bergen itself was founded around 1070. Around 1350, it became the official harbor area. The buildings here were used to store fish from Norway and grain from the rest of Europe. And then in 1702, the buildings burned down in a fire, and it's been largely reconstructed since. And so you can see and get a sense of what the warehouses have looked like over time here, how they were used, and get up close and personal, even though many have been turned into more touristy shops and restaurants now. The Floybanen is one of Bergen's main tourist attractions and one of Norway's most visited attractions. It leaves right from the center of the city, near the harbor. It is 2,769 feet long, ascends 991 feet, and carries over 1 million passengers each year. The initial idea came from Bergen resident John Lund, who might be a long-lost relative of ours. It was originally approved in 1912, but the First World War delayed the construction until 1918. The electric motor originally pulled the cars. Drivers had to actually drive each car, and they would tap on a wire to signal the motor operator if they wanted to go up or down and ever change the speed. The motors were upgraded in 1950, 1987, and the cars were upgraded in 1954, 1974, and again in 2002. The train runs every single day from morning through late evening. It departures are every 15 minutes during the peak times. The speed changes by demand, and each car is operated by a driver, so the time can vary anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes depending on time of year, how many people are on, and how much it needs to stop. There are 3 intermediate stops where you can get on or off, and it is primarily used to access the viewpoints and hiking on the mountain, although some people actually use it for commuting up and down from the mountain.
We are here on the Floybanen, which goes up to the top of Mount Floyen and overlooks Bergen. Although it's a pretty foggy, soggy day, so we'll see if we can actually see anything at the top. But we need to get out of the rain, so this was a good option. Alright boys, where are we?
Norway.
The funicular? Floybanen? Alright, we're up at the top of Mount Floyen, and it's raining considerably harder up here. But at least we can see.
And it is soggy.
And it's soggy. Andrew's right here. You like it up here?
Mm-hmm.
This is super cool.
Your eyes are squares, Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
So Floyen is a mountain that overlooks Bergen. It is 1,300 feet above sea level at the peak.
No, there's a bunch of shoals.
It's very popular with tourists due to the views over the city and the ease of access from the city center. Trains connect to other mountains overlooking the town. Ulriken is the most popular one. Roads also connect back down to the city, so it's very popular to take the train up the mountain and then hike back down.
That's not
In
beautiful.
the winter, the trails can even be used for sledding. It is the 4th most visited tourist attraction in Norway. While there, we actually saw a lot of people cycling up and down the mountain as well.
Like this olive pool that we have.
Enjoying our children whining at us on this beautiful nature
Non-stop. Just non-stop.
non-stop.
It was nice when we were here
When
5
they
years
couldn't
ago
talk.
and they didn't talk and they slept in the stroller. Unlike this one. We're almost to our destination on this long half-kilometer hike. That took us about 5 minutes. Ooh, but worth it. Spin. Spin. Get close to the edge there.
Daddy, don't look under the bed. Don't look under the bed. Oh. Oh, guess what? Under that bed, will you bed? No, clouds.
Alright, we're gonna go back down on the funicular now.
Okay, but it's cute. It's gonna be cool. Dad, can you show it there? Can you show it there?
I'll show you. Okay, go ahead, say it.
It's very steep.
What are you?
I'm the engineer. We are the engineers, so we can stand up.
After riding back down, we passed an interesting looking vegan spot but didn't have any reservations. And they were full, so we made one for the next day and decided to walk to another of Bergen's many vegan restaurants. It'd be very easy to live here as a vegan in Norway. There's so many options and cover so many different cuisines. We're getting dinner here at Dirty Vegan. It's one of several vegan restaurants here that had very good reviews. And we made a reservation for tomorrow at Vegan Vacation, which I'm also looking forward to trying because they have vegan salmon. Where's Mr.
Why are you pretending that you're friends?
Which one am I having?
You're having the chicken.
I'm having the vegetable chicken.
Yes, sir.
Chicken burger.
Yes. Are you guys
Does
excited?
the vegetable one have tomatoes in it? I'm having chicken.
You can take it out.
It does not have tomatoes.
Yay, the vegetable one.
That's my favorite actually. Have you had
After picking up our food, we took it back to our apartment, ate, and got everyone to bed. The next morning, we got up, went down to the harbor again, and got onto the Fjord tours, Bergen Fjord tour. Alright, we're here on the Fjord tour boats. We're doing 3 hours out in the fjords today. And, even better, it kind of looks like the sun's trying to come out. Patrol boat. It's a 3-hour cruise up the fjord from Bergen Harbor to Monstrømmen, a village next to a massive waterfall. It goes through some massive fjords, some really tiny ones, ones that make you wonder how the boat can even fit with how narrow and shallow they look. They can be quite deceptive though and go far deeper than it looks from the surface. We even saw some mountain goats up close near the waterfalls. It started off a little bit drizzly and chilly, but warmed up quickly and got sunny through the day. Arlo, where's your bun?
Got it. Did you see the pictures I
Wait,
sent you?
do you have our water? Oh, we have it. We have my water, please. Oh,
Fishing boat?
We had grabbed some pastries and bread from Roach Bread Bakery, a chain that's found throughout the city, and took it onto the boat to keep everybody full. We really enjoyed the cinnamon rolls in particular.
Where's Arlo? Hi, Arlo. Ah! Do you like the boat? Yeah. What do we see on the boat? Oh yeah. So we see lots of water. Is that good? Yeah?
Too hot.
Too hot. Alright, you want to go back down?
Bergen's fjords, like the town itself, are listed as UNESCO heritage sites. The fjords were carved by glaciers during the last ice age and go surprisingly deep, far beyond what it looks like from the shore. You get deep very fast. The Fjord goes to a depth of 2,000 feet below sea level. Bergen is one of the most popular launching points for fjord tours since it's easily accessible by both plane and train from Oslo. And it's not only goats that you see, but seals and eagles can also often be spotted along the fjords. The Nordhundland Bridge is a combined cable-stayed and pontoon bridge that is a mile long. It has clearance of 105 feet for large ships to pass under. And there's also a pedestrian and cycling roadway as well. It opened in 1994.
Bergen. Yeah. Where are we on? What thing are we riding on?
A boat.
And what are we seeing? Lots of
Waterfalls.
Yes, sir. Is it super cool?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Alright, sir. Nope. Where could you be? Wow.
Stop, look at that one.
Yeah.
Hello, Mama. You're gonna headbutt me, Mama.
We are on the Fjord boat. Where's Anders? Anders, you sleeping?
Bergen is Norway's second largest city, but the busiest port thanks to the 300 plus cruise ships that dock each year, bringing over 500,000 tourists to the city. In the winter, Bergen can be 20 degrees Celsius warmer than Oslo because of the wetter weather. Bergen gets a ton of rain due to the wet weather from the Gulf Stream. It rained every day from October 29th, 2006 to January 21st, 2007. It's never been hotter than 91 degrees. Bergen is considered the rainiest city in Europe as a result. Despite the marketing as a rainy city, it actually got 1,598 hours of sun annually each year from 2016 to 2020. So we feel like we were relatively lucky to get 2 sunny days while visiting, both our first time and this time.
Ahoy!
Inside one?
Ahoy, Lacey!
No, why would you want to do that? It's finally sunny! Although the last time we were here, it was beautiful like this, so actually it was even warmer.
It's hot.
For what is supposed to be the rainiest city in the world. It's actually quite nice.
After the Fjord tour, we did a bit more walking around the harbor and the park before grabbing a table at Bryggen, a microbrewery and attached bar and restaurants to enjoy some of the local brew.
Hanging out in Bergen Harbor at the microbrewery.
And Jack's Country Saloon. That's where Jack's Country Saloon is.
From Jack's Country Saloon. Yeehaw! Give us a yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Arlo, can you say yeehaw?
Look, this one, we have to trace on it. Dad, look, this one we have to trace on it.
Norway actually has very strict alcohol laws, resulting in very light, usually under 6% beers generally available at bars and restaurants. In fact, many Norwegians actually take the ferry over to Denmark just to get cheaper drinks. We noticed that on our ferry over to Copenhagen, which you'll see in an upcoming video. After that, we went back to vegan vacation where we had made a reservation the previous day. For most of our trip, we tried to find vegetarian or vegan-forward restaurants and found this to be quite easy and very good across Northern Europe.
We're having dinner with all of the animals, minus any animals, at Vegan Vacation.
With a buffalo on my head.
Yep, and what did you order?
What's all over? You have
What was
a
it?
pepper jack
Pizza,
cheese.
pepper jack cheese pizza, and fries with ketchup.
Yeah, Axel, what do you have?
And now I'm gonna have a Jack Daniels burger and some fries with ketchup.
After dinner, we explored the grounds of the Bergenhus Festning Fortress, which overlooks the harbor. We couldn't see most of it because they had a concert set up and we didn't have tickets, but we did see some of the walls and buildings. With the sun setting over the harbor, we decided to stop for one more drink along the Bryggen while the kids played.
Alright, and after dinner treats for Mommy and Daddy at 26 North. Love the outside culture in Norway.
Actually, the treats are for us, though. But,
What treats are you having?
ice cream.
Oh, we'll see about that. What about you? Mommy?
I'm gonna get one that Otto can have.
We called it a night because the next day we were off to take the Vi train to Oslo across the mountains, taking in views of the fjords, glaciers, lakes, and forests before arriving in Oslo over 7 hours later.
Alright, on the train to Oslo from Bergen. Seatmates are very rude.
This train ride is one of the most popular in Norway, as it is not only connecting the 2 largest cities, but also part of the Norway in a Nutshell tour that takes many tourists between the cities by both train and boat through the fjords. It's also very popular with Norwegians leaving the cities for the countryside and the mountains. Norwegians love hiking, and the mountains and glaciers along this route are incredible. It makes sense why we saw so many different outdoor outfitting and clothing stores throughout Bergen and Oslo. The train also connects to the Flam Railway, which we had done in 2017 on our trip with the twins. It goes past a whole ton of waterfalls, including a massive one over a gorge, and then arrives in Flam, which is a historic and picturesque waterside village along the fjords.
We're about an hour into the 7-hour train ride from Bergen to Oslo, and we're out in the countryside now, going through the fjords, the rivers, the mountains. We went past the suburbs of Asker, Bærum, and Drammen, and now we are heading through the Hallingdal Valley. In another hour or so, we'll reach Law Station. There are bears at a bear park there, rare leopards, moose, lynxes, crocodiles, and more. Then we'll be going past Nesbyen before arriving at Goal, where there are bus connections to Helmstedal, which is one of the best ski destinations in the hiker's paradise in summer. Maybe we'll go skiing there. Going through tunnels again, my ears keep popping.
We arrived in Oslo that evening at the central train station and took the tram to our apartment. Next up, we explore Oslo's parks, palace, sculpture park, restaurants, museums, boats, food halls, and finally get to the first funicular brewing location of our trip, one of many, before finally taking the ferry to Copenhagen. Subscribe so you don't miss any of our trip coming up. If you found this interesting, please do give a like, as it helps the channel quite a bit and will help keep making these videos. And we've got a lot more coming up of the rest of our trip soon, so stay tuned.